I'm John Ochins, and welcome to Schooling Around. As we near the end of the school year, the sweet taste of victory is filling the mouths of many of our high school students. Our first robotics team just returned from Worlds, the BPA kids will be back from Nationals shortly, and HOSA kids will be off to California in June. We'll take a look at these and more after this. Torque Team 2137 has a lot to be proud of. For the first time, they made it to the semifinals at the first World Championships. Although they missed the final round by losing in a 2 out of 3 competition, they ended up ranked number 1 of the Michigan teams. Senior Drew Saddam and Evan Mintz are on our team and tell us about Worlds.
The start of Worlds, we got assigned to the Tesla division, and they start off with the qualification matches where we ended up placing 3rd in our division.
After the qualifying rounds, we were placed in 3rd place, so we were the captain of the 3rd Alliance. We choose 3 other teams actually to be on our alliance, and we go into the tournament round competing with them.
Okay.
They set it up in quarters, semis, and finals. During quarters and semis, to move on, you have to be in the top half. Your team's average score has to be in the top half. And so after the quarterfinals and semifinals, our alliance was number 1.
And that's not all for these two. They also each won Kettering scholarships.
The scholarship is given out to certain students in the first community every year by Kettering. It's a huge award. It shows that you have demonstrated leadership on your first team and in your community.
The scholarship is worth $22,500. You get $5,000 a year every year you go to Kettering.
I bet your parents are happy about that.
Oh yeah.
What do you hope to major in?
I'm planning on majoring in electrical engineering.
I'm going to be a mechanical engineer.
The boys talk of some of the other benefits of Worlds.
Yeah, that's a big part of Worlds.
Got a few new email addresses, did you?
Yeah, you meet a lot of new people at Worlds, mainly because there's people from many different states and even countries there.
And you guys were determined to be number 1 in the state of Michigan out of like 346 teams or something.
Yeah.
That is really something.
Yeah, we ended up finishing 3rd in Michigan. So
That's
Going into states, we were first, and that's something to be really proud of.
And people have to remember that there was like 600 teams that participated in Worlds.
Yeah.
A bit over 600, yeah.
This was a big deal. In fact, next year, aren't they thinking of having it in 2 places at once?
That'll be in 2 years.
Yeah.
And what was your best memory from all this?
Mainly making it as far as we did. Making it to the final rounds of the elimination tournament was the farthest our team has ever gone. And because we even got to the 3rd round of the best out of 3 in the finals, was more exciting because our team has never made it before in its history.
Wow. What about you?
This year I was able to go down on the field to help as the pit crew. Last year I was just stuck in the stands. I was a scout, which is still a very important thing to be. This year I got to go down. I was the expert for our robot, and so after every match I had to run a check on it, replace the battery, do everything that it needs so that it would be ready for the next round.
How about your greatest reward from robotics?
Mainly, I guess experience is the biggest thing. Being able to go and put on my resume that I've had experience working with a multitude of different machines, softwares, and even getting hands-on experience working on a robot itself is a huge step up for most other high school students.
The biggest thing for me was being able to work with other people. Before joining Torque, I was a big loner, but now I have a lot of friends. I know how to work on a team, and I've even learned how to lead quite a bit.
And it's about more than building robots.
For example, one of the next community outreach projects that we're doing is No Has Day that's going to be taking place down at the middle school. We help recycle old electronics that couldn't be recycled otherwise.
And we also do other things in the community. We do like can drives. We've helped raise money for like St. Jude's, and we've also done other like recycling-based projects.
There's also helping out those coming behind you.
We have people who go over there and mentor. Both students on Torque and mentors on Torque go help, and then Torque is actually a sponsor for them because they originally didn't have enough money to like pay for their admissions to the tournaments that they go and compete in. Torque gave them some of our money to help sponsor them.
And some final thoughts.
I'm really going to miss this. Good luck to Torque next year. Devin, please. And great job this year.
Okay.
Same likewise. I'm really looking forward to what Torque can do in the future with as much as we've already accomplished in the past.
Drew Saddam and Evan Mintz. Back in a moment.
You're watching OCTV. Daniel Ashford Tech 10.
So where do these kids get warmed up for all this? We went over to Oxford Middle School to have a look at our middle school robotics team. Teacher Christy Watson is in charge.
The kids were at 2 different competitions. They went to, which competition did we go to?
Second qualifier.
Brandon
first, and then there was one other.
And then it didn't start with an H.
we went to Heartland first, and then we went to the Brandon competition.
How'd everything go?
Very good. The first one, our robot had some struggles, and then the second competition, we did much better.
Now, I see that these guys are a part of the first organization with the
Yes.
competitions and everything, so it kind of seems like this is one of the steps in getting them ready for the high school competitions, huh?
Yes, yes. This is the next step up after Lego League, and then they go into the high school competition from here.
Okay, is Lego League, is that primarily elementary school?
Yes, that's the elementary, and then this is the middle school. This is the FTC.
So we have all the middle school grades represented?
Yes, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Wow.
And they're all, each one of them, I think we have, 4 6th graders, majority are 7th graders, and 2 8th graders? Or 4 8th graders, 4 8th
Nick.
graders.
Oh yeah, 4. Nick isn't here.
Yes, but
Adam.
Rachel.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Adam. I forgot that.
And how many years has this been going on in the middle school?
This is our 4th year.
Wow. Looks like it's going pretty well too, huh?
It is.
That's pretty good. That is
We've been known to have the largest group when we go to competition.
Ben Fracker is a 7th grader over at OMS. He explains this year's game.
Well, the purpose is to pick up the balls and put them in the tube. Our arm can rise up to get it into, we can get the 60 and the 30. Can we get the 90?
Yeah.
we can get the 90. We just
good
can't
there.
get the center. We can't get the center.
So, well, what happens is the chain lifts up the ball so we can put them in the tube, and for every for how high it is, so these are measured in centimeters, so if we had one in there, it's almost 10 centimeters, so then we would get 10 points in competition.
Okay, so you had a competition that required you to do this, is that right?
Yes, that's what our whole robot, that's why our whole robot was
How did you
built
guys
for
do
doing
with
this.
that?
We did pretty well. The first one was all right. Our first robot was not as great as this one is, so we improved on it after we finished our first one, and now we have this robot, which we did really well we did pretty well in our second one, but we did move on to states.
Ian Kiefer was at the controls this year. He and Ethan Madison fill us in.
So what we have here is basically when you have like a program running, we've got different screens to show. Like we have one that monitors each of the the joysticks, and they monitor each like the positions of every button and things. We also have in the middle there is different modes. So we have there's 2 different types of modes in each thing. There's autonomous mode where it's basically the robot is running by itself on a pre-designed program, and then teleop mode where the drivers will control. And on here we have different modes for if it's autonomous or teleop is ready and then running, and finally one that stops the whole program.
Sounds complicated to me.
Yeah.
Tell me, did you have a role in putting the programs together, or how does that work?
Well, we usually have to write up the programs ourselves using a special kind of robot language. This is called Robot C. Yep. And we use this mainly. This is a good programming language for robots because it's designed to be able to be used for robots like driving and other things like that.
Oh, great. Well, congratulations on the great job you all did this year.
Can I introduce Ethan
You certainly
as well? Ethan was our main programmer. He's actually trained the rest of our programmers.
Wow.
Yep.
How'd you learn to do all that, Ethan?
I started in 6th grade, and I learned from the previous head programmer. I learned a bit from him, and then over the summer I watched videos and learned as much as I could about it.
Kira Houston and Cameron Mumbrew tell us why they're on the team.
Personally, I've always wanted to be in robotics. I wanted to be in Lego League, but other stuff interfered with that. So when I knew there was robotics, I decided I want to join. When I grow up, I think I want to be an engineer, so this is going to really help me along with that. And it's also just really fun to do.
So you're looking forward to when you guys are in high school next year to being in that? Yeah. And how about you?
When I first came to the school and I learned there was a robotics team, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do it because I thought it would be really difficult. And then I decided to give it a try and found out that it's actually, once you get into it, it's not that hard, and you can use what you learn here in other areas of school and other stuff.
Wow. I did that in 7th grade, didn't you? Next, a visit with the Business Professionals of America on their way to nationals. Oxford High School has many kids involved with Business Professionals of America, or BPA as they call it. You'll never guess why, but we happen to speak with those on the broadcasting team. We found Aiden Scheiber, Alicia Kuligowski, Brenda Martinez, and Harrison Lavins over in our mass media studio. They explain a bit about BPA and what's coming up.
BPA is just a giant competition where a bunch of students from a bunch of schools all across the nation come together and they compete in just different business related events such as C++ programming and just writing up business proposals and all that.
How many competitions do they have every year?
They have 3 competitions, which are regional, state, and also nationals.
Okay, and you guys have done pretty well, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I think there's a few other kids from the school in other categories who've done well as also. Right, so tell me, the last contest you guys were at was?
States.
The States, and your category is?
Broadcasting production.
In fact, we're actually in your studio here in the high school right now. Okay, so tell me, what was States like? What did you guys have to do?
For States, we had to create a 3 to 5 minute news broadcast just depicting different stuff that we wrote stories about within our school. And from there we had to make a presentation and also present it in front of judges.
Okay, and how did you guys do in that?
We placed first in the state.
First in the state. Oh, let's shout that out really loud. Okay, so now Nationals is coming up, and where are you going for that?
Anaheim, California.
Isn't that nice? So what do you know about Nationals and what you're expected to do?
So for the national competition, Aiden and myself, we went last year with a different team from Oxford.
So you've been there before?
We've been there before, and we placed 3rd in the nation last time we were at the national competition.
Wow. Okay, so are you girls ready for this?
More than ready.
And that's coming up in a couple weeks, isn't it?
Next Wednesday.
And if we move on in the national competition, there are 2 rounds. So the first round we will present and show them a presentation that we've already prepared. And then if we move on to the second round, we'll be asked to produce a live broadcast within 3 hours right on site in Anaheim, California. And it's very difficult to do that in such a short amount of time.
A live broadcast.
Yeah, and especially with last year when we went to nationals, we were in the top 10, so we were able to go to the final round. And it's changed a lot this year compared to last year. Because last year we were only allowed to have like 90 minutes to put together a 2-minute broadcast. So we had to bring a lot of our equipment. We almost didn't have any equipment, but we had our teacher come down to Indianapolis last year to give it to us. So it's definitely an experience.
The kids share more thoughts about the BPA competition.
Especially with last year when we got to the final round, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress, but it's like the payoff is just immensely worth it, and it's the most exhilarating thing I've ever had in my entire life. So I'm really excited.
Is there scholarship money available from these sorts of things?
Not for this event. It's more recognition within the field.
So you guys are all seniors. That means this is it. What are your plans for next year?
Next year for college, I'm going to OU on a full ride. So,
congratulations. Are you getting into broadcasting, or what are you?
I'm probably going to get a business degree as a major and a film as a minor degree.
All right. And how about you?
I'm hoping to go to Northwood for marketing.
For what?
Marketing.
Marketing. All right. And you?
I'm going to Ferris State University for psychology.
Psychology. Mm-hmm. Well, we need some of that in broadcasting too. And you?
And personally, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing, but I will be attending Western Michigan University this upcoming fall.
It's okay not to be sure. You've got time to make up your mind. Anything else you guys want to say about the contest that's coming up?
Especially being a part of BPA the past 2 years has probably been one of the better experiences I've had in high school. It's been definitely the most awarding, and I've been in a bunch of other stuff, but this is probably the best I've had in high school. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can honestly say I'm glad that I was a part of this my senior year. I kind of ended my high school career with a bang, going out with this great team.
Yeah, you meet so many different people and you just connect so well. So great. I wouldn't change it for anything.
And I think BPA, for me, has really helped me grow as a person. It's helped me become more confident, and I can definitely tell that, for myself at least, BPA has helped me to speak out more in my classes, and I can definitely tell a difference between the way I speak compared to my fellow classmates who haven't had this experience.
Does anybody know off the top of their head how many years Oxford High School's been involved with BPA?
6.
6 years, so they've had some experience there.
We'll have a look at still another group heading for finals in a moment. HOSA stands for Health Occupations Students of America. These are kids who want to be doctors, nurses, therapists, and more. We caught up with Matthew Olson, Jordan Zinger, and William Quackenbush. I asked them about their experiences at States and more.
I was actually very surprised. I didn't know how I'd feel about it because I haven't done many things like that I thought I would enjoy it so much. But when we went up to Traverse City, it wasn't only busy work. We actually had a very fun time. We got to meet new people in the group, make new friends, and also in terms of the competition, working together. And we didn't think we even did that well in regionals, and then we went to states, and we were kind of bummed out on how we did. We thought we could always do better, but surprisingly we did as well as we did through hard work.
Now, your specialty was community emergency response, is that correct?
Yes.
So, when you got there, were you a little afraid, since this was the first time around for you guys, how you'd stack up against everybody else?
Yes. We were kind of Well, my partner is very optimistic too, so that was a lot of help too. His name's Quinn. And together, his father was actually the president of the CERT team, so he was an excellent resource, and with him, we figured we could get a lot more done. And we were kind of afraid of some of the technical schools that do this almost all the time, so we were kind of the underdogs. And
But in the end, when you'd been through it all, how did you feel?
like when we finished our event, I was a little upset. I thought we could have done a little better, but then I realized how much we'd actually accomplished. And even if we didn't finish everything, like in our first event, we didn't finish everything, but we went through it and we did it all right, and everything that Quinn's dad told us to do, we made sure we tried our best, and we fixed our mistakes even if we made them. So
Now, Bill, what grade did you say you were in?
I'm in 11th grade.
Great, so you have a chance to do this again next year then, don't you?
Definitely going to do it.
Okay,
Yes.
and are you going on to nationals?
Yes.
Oh, you are, so you're going to have a chance to do it real quick.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'll be ready when we get there, I think.
Okay, how about you guys? What did you think about the state event?
It was kind of like a new experience, I guess. It wasn't really something that we had done before, being like a new chapter. It was kind of eventful. It was fun yet intimidating, then it was like terrifying, and then it was kind of a letdown, then it was okay, this is fun again. So it was like a series of events, I guess.
Now, your specialty was physical therapy, right? How, once you got going with the competition and everything, how did you feel about
I thought it was really, I thought it was cool. The test was really rough, but then once you got into like the skills, we put a lot of time into knowing how we had to do things, when we had to do things, like the right way to get it. Like I put in different hours of job shadowing, so that kind of made me feel like a lot more comfortable. And I guess after doing it, you kind of realize how much you're preparing yourself for the future.
So by job shadowing, you mean you spent time with actual physical therapists in the area?
Mm-hmm.
Dan Garr from HealthQuest offered his time to both train the kids and also offered his facilities so that the kids could go and do some job shadowing. And from Dan Garr from HealthQuest in Oxford, and also Suzanne Schmidt from DMC also helped the kids, train the kids, and so she was also a very good resource.
So you're going on to nationals, are you?
I'm not going to compete, but
Oh, that's right. It's an
Next-
office situation. Tell me about that.
right now I'm kind of like our president, I guess, for our Oxford OSA chapter, and after kind of researching and looking into it, I've decided I want to run for state officer next year as president, which is a 2-year elect, or vice president, possibly even secretary, not sure yet, but we feel like it'll be a good experience to go to nationals this year to kind of figure out the different qualifications.
I see. And what about you? What was your experience like at States?
I liked it. We met a lot of new people from all over the state. We also met people from Puerto Rico that came up. That was pretty cool to meet them and talk with them.
And your specialty was what again?
The biomedical debate.
Ah, all right, tell me a little bit about that. Biomedical debate. Go ahead.
Well, we had to debate. There were two sides, affirmative and negative. And I had the affirmative side, which debated that e-cigs are worse than cigarettes. And I was a little nervous because we had to do a 4-minute speech and then a rebuttal after that, which is 2 minutes, a total of 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then 1 minute split up. And I was kind of nervous, and because I wasn't really comfortable with doing the rebuttal. But then we got the affirmative side, so I did the 4-minute speech.
Okay, and how much in advance do you find out about what the topic of the debate's going to be?
You find out at like 2 months before the
So you got some
regionals.
preparation
Yeah.
time. I see. So you're going on to nationals.
No.
You're not going. You didn't. Okay, but you did very well. You
Yes.
should be proud of what you did at the state competition. I think it's remarkable because this is the first year you guys have been around. Senior Renee Hansen was one of those who qualified immediately for nationals. We asked her about her experience and goals. Let's talk about your experience in the state competition, okay? And by the way, are you a senior? Or
Yeah, I'm a
you are.
senior.
Okay, so this is it for you this year, isn't it?
First and last.
Ah, how'd you like state competition?
It was really fun. It was
really laid back, and I liked it a lot just because all of us got to interact too, and it gave me time to focus on my competition and like my exact things I was doing too.
Now, for clinical nursing, what kind of stuff did you do to prepare?
We were given a list of 6 skills we had to learn, and we only got tested on 2, but we didn't know which 2 until we walked into the testing room. So I had to learn how to, basic terms, I had to use a shot in the muscle, a shot in the fat, use a catheter, do pulse oximetry, take out an IV, I think that's, and put an oxygen mask on.
And what did you do ahead of time to prepare for all this?
Miss Jenkins, actually, she came in, she was a nurse, or she used to be a clinical nurse as well, so she came in and helped us, and we just went over each step and each skill, each step we had to do. She helped us, did it repetitively.
That's great, and you came out in 2nd place in the state competition, so you were qualified for nationals right away. That's terrific, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what can you expect going into nationals? What are you going to be going through?
I think honestly the state competition gave me a lot of like preparation for nationals, because when I went into the testing room at states I was really nervous, and I know I missed a few steps too, and so I know like I'm going to practice more, so when I go into the nationals testing room I'll know to take a deep breath and slow down and actually focus on the skills that I know how to do.
Okay, so you weren't, I suppose in a situation like the subject area that you're in, you can't really shadow a nurse in a hospital or anything like that, can you, because of legalities, but that's really wonderful. So are you going to go into nursing after you graduate?
Yeah, I'm going to Saginaw State University, or Saginaw Valley State University for the nursing program.
That's terrific. I wish you all the luck in the world. Any specialty you want to get into?
I want to be a pediatric nurse at first, and then be like a travel nurse.
Teacher Monica Petrus is the mentor for the group. She has some words for those in our community who helped them out.
Well, we'd just like to thank all the healthcare providers in the community that helped train us, because I did not know these skills. I'm not a physical therapist, I'm not an EMT, I'm not a CERT specialist. So we had to rely on community members. Parker Veterinarian helped one of our vet students shadow. We had DMC, we had I think it was Beaumont. So we couldn't have been successful if it wasn't for all the people that helped us.
Monica also has strong feelings about her kids.
So I was really proud of the students, because none of us knew what we were in for, and I've never been, so I couldn't give them any advice, and they faced their fear, and they took a chance. They were out of their comfort zones, and even though they were nervous, they still went ahead and did it anyway, and they worked really hard. And I think this was our first year, but they all did very, very well.
Next, a brief visit to our Early Childhood Center.
You're watching OCTV. Daniel Asford Tech 10.
There's a spring fair coming up over at Early Childhood. Pat Mueller tells us all about it.
Well, we have had such a great year here at OELC. We're ending our year and starting our summer with a fair for families. All sorts of activities. There's a rock climbing wall, and there's some retro games, there's food, we're having raffles, and there's all sorts of stuff for kids and families to do. We're going to take enrollment and registration that evening as well, which is great because we just got funded for the summer program for school readiness. So we're saying goodbye to one group and saying hello to the next.
Wow, how many kids did you have in that program last year? Do you remember?
For the school year?
No, the readiness that you're talking.
The school readiness for the school year, we had 85.
Wow.
Pretty great, huh?
And is that spread out among different schools, or
yes, it is. We have the program. The school readiness program is at each of the elementary schools. So we have a group at Clear Lake, a group at Leonard, a group at Lakeville, a group at DA, and then a group here as well.
That's Pat Mueller over at the Early Learning Center by Oxford Elementary. If you have any questions, stop by. She'll be glad to fill you in. That's Schooling Around for this week. Thanks to those behind the scenes here in the studio and you for watching. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.